Okay, we are live. We're back. Just getting a couple of things together, but we're back. Hope everybody's doing good. Wanted to come on here tonight and continue our follow-up on the case. Oh, we got Yamasushi Roll in the house. Joyful and Juicy in the house. Jamel Hester checking in from Northwest Indiana. All right. China Moon is back in the house. We got some folks joining us here tonight, so I'm just getting things situated a bit so that we can continue our investigation and our review of the Orrin and OrsonWest case that's currently ongoing. There have been some new developments, obviously. I'm sure that those of you who've been following the case have definitely updated yourselves as to what that new update is, which is great news. It's always good news. But in this case, it's starting to make a difference. It seems like things are starting to pick up some speed finally after 2 months. And if you've been following this case carefully, you know that Orrin and OrsonWest, this case has been a top priority. In fact, it has been a high-profile case, not only here in the United States, but worldwide. And so a lot of people are very, very concerned as to where the boys are, because that's been the number one question about this case. Where are the boys? What happened to them? XX country, what's up? So I want to welcome those of you who are just joining us in the chat. We're just getting started. And if you were with us on Sunday, when I first started my live series on this case, we covered some extraordinary information from the actual interview that the adopted parents did when they were interviewed by the news reporter in California City, California, where the boys went missing on December 21st of 2020. So Novella Wilson, how you doing? Anthony McNeil. And hopefully we'll have a couple of mods come in. Thank you all for for coming back. I'm trying to, stay up to speed with this case as best as I can around my schedule. But tonight, I wanted to continue to follow up with you as to my overview and my insights as to what information I am gleaning from this case and where I think it's going. And so far, where I believe it's going in the right direction. Brother Boss Blake, how you doing? And so with that said, to hear what I heard today and the follow-ups to it, I believe this case is going to start really picking up some big steam now that it is in the hands of the Bakersfield Police Department. And I believe this should have happened a while ago, but finally, I guess there was a decision made as to move the case to the proper jurisdiction, and that is in Bakersfield. And I believe that with that time allotment, there has been a collection of evidence, information, interviews that have been collectively done to a point to where we will begin to see what we needed to see about a month and a half ago. However, no disrespect to the California Police Department. I think they did the best that they could under the circumstances and under the resources that they had. Boots on the ground to those that have been there following the case, those content creators on YouTube covering the case. Much love to you. Much love to those people that have been covering the case on YouTube and Facebook, social media. Yes, we're going to keep this case alive. And we want to keep this case not only alive, but we want to make sure that there's plenty of steam and heat and people's attention on this case so that this way the authorities can do their job. They know they have a huge pressure on their hands when social media has got this case on a high buzz, if you know what I mean. Okay. So with that said, I'm making my contribution from my channel, covering the information that I'm able to glean from it and share with you some of the insights I've come across during my investigation of this case. Uh, Plenty of you know that I'm still working on the Kanika Jenkins case. It's still on my table. And so I'm happy to say that, a lot of those that have still been following the Kanika Jenkins case is definitely tuned in still to the developments that are occurring. I will be going over those new developments with you as I get time to. But in light of the Orrin and OrsonWest case, I wanted to give it my utmost attention so that this way we can proceed. J.A. Martinez, thank you for coming. Sweet Pea Yee, thank you for coming. So, Boss Blake, thank you for being here this evening, and I thank you for taking time out on Sunday to join us to join me on the panel to discuss your findings on the case. And you've given me some great information, and I am continuing to follow your case on and your series on your channel. If you have not subscribed to Boss Blake, please do. He is covering this case as well. We've got 45 C. Pete, Alton Harris coming into the house. Okay, so with that said, I wanted to get things rolling here. And well, let's just go here first. Get these things underway. You know how we do. Share my screen with you so that this way we can start to cover information here tonight. Okay. All right, we've got screen share. Okay. And before we get into anything, in terms of any information that I've been able to capture from the internet to share with you my insight, we want to make sure that we have a content copyright disclaimer on here so that this way no one gets offended, no one gets hurt. I try to give my shout outs to all those that have made a major contribution to this case, as well as to the Kanika Jenkins case. Just bear with me one moment. Welcome, everybody. Okay. So we have, as we've discussed in our last live, Case that involves two toddlers. Let me bring that back. Oh, there we go. What page am I on? All right, here. Okay, got this down here. Just getting set up, y'all. Bear with me. Ages 3 and 4, by the name of Orrin and Orson West. We've heard this story since December 21st of 2020. These boys went missing in California City, California. These are adopted boys by the adopted parents of Trezell and Jacqueline West. And in our last live, I've covered some information regarding their news interview, which was very interesting, to say the least. And we pulled out some information from that interview and made some statements and made some major points the last time we were together. And in that interview, we were able to glean a lot of information as to the mindset of the adoptive parents, how these boys went missing. What was the reason they went missing? So the story that was told by the adopted parents, and obviously I've got this silly buffering going on. It's all set up. See if I can get it from my page. I had this all up. All right, so let's give it a moment here, do its thing. And the story that unfolded from them told a lot about the attention that was given to these boys in 2020. And it gave us incredible information as to their attitude, their demeanor, a lot of strange stuff between the two of them that occurred during that interview. And if this thing would just get on board here, I tried to separate the windows so they wouldn't cause so much buffering. Just bear with me because I wanted to get this up here. So let's bear. Sometimes they say patience is a virtue. It certainly is. All right. So in covering that information, I was able to go over a lot of telltale signs of this story. We also found out that the biological family patient during the time of this interview, which I felt very strange. Why were they there? When an adoption takes place and the file is closed, especially by a court judge, to finalize an adoption, that is it. That is it. the biological mother and father and family members do not have any more rights, and information is shut off as to their whereabouts, as to what school they go to, et cetera, et cetera. And as soon as I had found out that the biological family was there present, I found that very, very strange and wanted to know the reasons why they were there. I talked to you about motive, and motive is the key in this case. One of the things that we had talked about is the motive of both mothers, and there is motive here. There is strong motive here. We have a biological mother who's missing her biological children in some strange way, to the point to where CPS had taken her kids away from her, put her under investigation, and decided to move those children to a temporary foster care home. And we spoke about that in our last live. And then decided to move them to another foster care home in a short period of time. And to the second foster care home, being that of Trezell and Jacqueline West, secured an adoption by these parents. Now, Trezell and Jacqueline have two biological children of their own, plus two foster care children as well, and having 6 kids in that family household. So here there is motive, because now those children have been taken from them, all of them. And hence, the same thing that happened to Ryan Dean, the biological mother, has now happened here to Jacqueline West and Trezell West. So you have motive on both sides of this story. And this is getting heavier and heavier by the day, because now from what you've heard and what you've seen, the plot thickens, and also tension, stress, anxiety, uncertainty kicks in. Both these adoptive parents and on the biological family. What's going to happen next? But we've been able to cover and identify some of the biological family from our last live. If you haven't seen it, check it out. We've heard from the biological mother in that live as well, during her interview with the same news crew that was out there on December 23rd, 2 days later after it was found out that the boys were missing on December 21st. And so here you have a story still unfolding today, with new developments happening hour to hour to a degree. And I just wanted to cover a little bit about Trezell's story with you. As his story went, it was cold. He went out to get some firewood. I had questions about that during my last live. Where was it cold? Why would he start an interview by saying, "Oh, it was cold"? But he did. I found that very strange. And that the kids were out in the back patio of the house playing with chalk, and that when he went into the house, for Lord knows how long he was there, and then returned to the back and found the boys were gone. Questioning his wife, has she seen the boys? And he was told by his wife, as he told the news reporters, that no, that they weren't in the house and they were outside playing with chalk. I question that too. For someone who was inside the house wrapping Christmas gifts, how would she know if the boys were playing with chalk outside on the back patio and not? If the living room is in the front of the house, found that very strange. And him then looking around, as he said he did, and getting in his vehicle, as he said he did, to go out to search for the boys that night between 4:30 and 5 p.m. We have a sunset happening, and sunset did occur fairly quickly that evening, only to find that he spent 6 minutes looking for the boys in the street down in the neighborhood. And I wanted to find out what kind of a neighborhood that was. Where exactly did he go for 6 minutes when he got into that vehicle? Because no parent who has missing kids gets in their vehicle and goes out for 6 minutes to look for their missing children. That's what didn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to a lot of people. No one spends 6 minutes looking for their missing kids. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're banging on doors. They're waking up the neighborhood for their kids. But it's interesting that this didn't happen here in this case. So I wanted to take a look at where this guy was. So I went to Google Maps, and I wanted to get a little bit of an idea as to the terrain, neighborhood, where this was located, how it was located, how it was situated. Well, it usually happens very well. Let's see if I can get this back. Not what I wanted to do. But going back to the bird's eye view, try to type of one in the chat room if you can, if audio is good. Meant to do that up front. Type of one in the chat room if audio is good while I get this down pat here. So I wanted to take a look around the neighborhood and see what the terrain looked like, how the neighborhood was situated, how many houses on a block. There was a traffic light, a stop sign, school sign, something. And I'm just giving this a moment so that this way we can get to a point to where we can see what we need to see. So here we are in California City. This is going way too fast. Doing things I'm not telling it to do. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. We got stuff popping all over the place here. And hence, this is a bird's eye view of the area in which Trezell and Jacqueline West live. And out just a little bit more. We can see this area is not a high residential area, especially when it's near so much desert area. One of the main boulevards that run into this area is Proctor Boulevard, as you see my arrow, that goes into California City. One of the main highway arteries that run into this area, up to 108th Street and right to Aspen Avenue, right to the home on that block Dale and Jacqueline West live. And so now taking a look at this area, I was able to see exactly how it's not heavily populated in this area. Not at all. So, and coming close to this area and beginning to identify the layout, we see a home here on the corner. We see two vacant lots here, and then their home, and then another vacant lot, and then another home, and then another home, and so on that block. We have a home here on the corner across the street. We have a home adjacent to it across the street. And then we have a home here across the street, and then so on. So here we have the actual layout of the neighborhood. And on December 21st, at around 4:30 to 5 p.m. that evening, it's starting to get dark, and I wanted to know certain things about why he did what he did that evening. Behavior plays a very important role in this particular case, and his behavior was extremely inconsistent with his story. Give you a little bit of an idea of the terrain. I'm trying to move this so you'll be able to see this area, its lots up close. And obviously, back out. Just give me a moment. Okay. I'm still just trying to navigate this a little bit. Okay. All right, I'll stop messing with it because I want to get to my point. And so, checking the area, he was able to get in his vehicle at the time the boys went missing, according to his story. And we'll get to see some evidence of that. But a house that is to the left, excuse me, to the right of theirs, had a video surveillance camera that was pointing in the direction of the open lot and of the West's home on that evening. And so this neighbor was able to capture video surveillance footage of the activities that occurred that night and what Trezell West did, according to his story. If we look at how the story unfolded, he said he got into his vehicle, he pulled out of the driveway, and if you follow my arrow, I hope you can see that. Let me just make sure you can. Give me a second, I'll go to full screen. Okay, now we'll go back. All right, he got into his vehicle, he pulls out into the street on Aspen Avenue. He makes a left, goes down to the corner. I believe he goes to Melville Drive, then makes a right, and then disappears behind the homes out of camera range. So what I wanted to do tonight was begin to verify his story as to what he told California Police Department, along with the news media, of that interview that him and his wife had done, how true of a story he told. So, with that said, I was able to locate a piece of that footage through a content creator by the name of AV Watchman, who is covering the case, boots on the ground, was at the location, was at the house, was in the area, and he was a part of the search group along with LV, United We Stand, AV Watchman, United We Stand, and a host of other people that were there at that location on the ground searching. And obviously, YouTube is just as slow as ever. They're not gonna, my internet service provider is not gonna be getting any more money out of me, I'm telling you. If you want, pay up. Anyway, as I'm queuing his video piece, the one I want to share with you tonight, these folks have spent a tremendous amount of time and resources and heart to look and search physically for these boys out there in California City. And so across that house to the right that I across the lot and make a connection with knowing that he was out there searching along with a host of other people. And the neighbor and him were able to, I guess, have a conversation to a point to where the neighbor actually shared with him the content of the video surveillance footage that he had taken that night of Trezell West and what he did and when the police got there, how long things took with a timeline. And so I wanted to share that with you if you haven't seen it. because I felt it was of great importance to take a look at some extraordinary information in reference to timelines. Anytime that there is a case investigation, whether it's a homicide, a missing person, et cetera, the key to any investigation, obviously, is time. When did it happen? Where did it happen? To whom did it happen to? How many people were there, et cetera, et cetera. So it falls in line to get a handle on what time things occurred. So here, we're going to listen into AV Watchman's conversation with that neighbor who shared with him this video surveillance footage. And we're going to be able to get a good view as best as we can, because I know it's video to video. He used his phone to capture the video surveillance footage that was recorded on December 21st of 2020. So with that said, I'm going to play this video. Big shout out to AV Watchman for recording this and getting this out. He is allowing other content creators to share this particular piece, so I'm going to share it with you.
You want to black out what? It's up to you. Yeah, let's do it. Good. Okay, all right, guys. So he had to turn the lights off real quick. That way we can see a little bit better.
All right, so this is the time he's going to report his kids missing. So it's 4:31. He's going to come out right now. He's going to come out. I'm coming out in a second now.
Okay, so what we're looking at, guys, is here. See that van? So he's going to come in outside any moment now to make the call.
Well, he's going to look for his kids apparently, but you're going to see how he does it and what he does. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Renee, welcome. Don Williams.
So the light came on. You see it?
Which in the front?
Yeah, the front little like he opened this front side door. You see the door open?
Okay, the door is open to the van. Yep.
Yeah, you see it?
Yep.
So he's gonna hop in his van right now.
Hey, can you guys see this video? Hit one if you can see it pretty good.
Okay, so he turns his van on, bro.
Okay.
So apparently he's looking for his kid, but it takes him about 10 minutes just to sit in his van and turn his car on. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he didn't even look in the front yard or around the side.
Nothing.
Off the street. So he hops in his van. I mean,
I
don't think he's going in a speed where you're searching for somebody. You're going pretty fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You made that turn right there. You're not looking for nobody. You know what I mean?
Okay, where's he going?
He makes that turn, right?
That right here by his house?
I mean, you gotta figure your kids are missing. You don't know which direction they went, right?
Right.
So he takes off that direction for I don't know what reason, looking for his kids. But we got lights, Christmas lights on this side. We got a big open lot. He's got his fence line right here. He didn't come out to look behind his fence
He
line.
didn't do none of that shit.
None of that shit. I mean, your kid missing. Why would you jump in your car?
Yeah.
You're gonna.
Of course.
Correct.
You guys should have seen that, right, guys? So he walks out. He freaking gets in the van. He doesn't even come to look in this area here.
No
He's not running down the street, freaking looking this way. He's not running that way.
He sits in the car.
He sits in the car. He gets in, starts it up, warms it up for a little bit, and then he just casually drives out.
So about 4 minutes, he's gone. So then he fast forward.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you doing this.
So we go about
All right, guys. So this is a neighbor, man. This dude's awesome. He has it on.
So
Wait, I see the van is just there right now.
So this is 35.
Who's this? What's this?
It's just a shadow. It looks like a car, but it's not. It's just a shadow right there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
That's a shadow, bro?
Yeah, bro. I know it looks like a car, but it's not.
Now the camera time is 16:33,
Okay, so
which is military time.
that's him. That's him. So he's in the field right now, right?
These are little streets back here, but the field starts like about there,
okay,
a little higher than that.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it's still residential right there where he's living.
Okay, so that was him that just came from right here.
Yeah, but he's on the street, two, 3 streets
over.
You see him coming?
Yeah.
See him? Bam.
Yeah.
See that car? Headlights.
Okay, so there he is again.
He came back. That was about 4 or 5 minutes. He was gone.
He was gone 4 to 5 minutes. And as you guys see, even on the timestamp as well, he was only gone for maybe 4 to 5 minutes. Boom, there he is.
So he comes, opens the door, gets out, goes in front of his house, and just stands there, bro. You know what I mean? You see him?
Yeah.
You see him? He's just standing there. He's not looking for no kid.
Yeah, he's not.
So he's standing there. He'll stand.
He's behind the tree right now, right?
Yeah, he's behind that tree where he thought it was a car, that it was like a shadow.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there, bro.
Look, so this freaking lane.
Now, just to stop this for a moment, this truly bothered me. I said, now, I was under the impression from his story, as everyone else was, that this man went out to search for his missing boys, his kids, that they both went out to search for these kids. And obviously, according to the video surveillance footage that was captured by his neighbor, being shared with us by AV Watchmen, we are looking at the evidence to the contrary of his story that he told news reporters on the 23rd of December that he went out here looking for his kids. They went out looking for these children. And obviously, you can see it is dark. And it only took him 5 to 6 minutes of searching before he returned back to the home, got out of the vehicle, and just stood there, perhaps making that 911 call. Now, the California City Police Department did not release that 911 call yet, as I understand it, because it is part of an ongoing investigation. We'll see if the Bakersfield Police Department is able to release that information now that they have the case at hand fully. But this right here bothered me. Oh my goodness. I said, this begins to change the whole dynamics to the story. He never went up and down Aspen. As you saw, he pulled out of the driveway, made a left turn. He went to Melville Drive, made a right turn, and went down the street. And what it appears to me, according from what we've seen on this video surveillance footage, he came around from Proctor Boulevard, made a right turn back onto Aspen, back to the house. All in about 5 to 6 minutes, give or take. 5 to 6 minutes. He said he went around the corner during his interview. He said he went around that corner and spoke to a neighbor, asking that neighbor down in that area, had they seen his children? Which I doubt very much he ever spoke to, because nothing ever developed in regards to us finding out whether that was true or not. But to see this video surveillance footage and then compare it to what was told, definitely shows a night and day story. definitely shows a night and day story. Melvina Smith says, I would have not come home until the next day looking for my kids. Absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome to those that are just joining us in the chat. Absolutely. He could have called the police from his van and kept looking. Absolutely, Boss Blake. And if he spoke to someone, we really can't see who he spoke to. But to see this video surveillance footage actually prove to the contrary what he told the news reporters, and most likely the California Police Department, is extraordinary to see. And hence, I'm sure that the California Police Department, once they were able to obtain this video surveillance footage, seen what had occurred that night, and then came up with the idea of foul play in some way, shape, or form. Because as we proceed, more and more holes get popped into the story that was told. Well, let me just do this, and I can show you exactly what he did. I can show you exactly what he did. I can show you exactly what he did. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Let's go back to Google Maps. And hence, we have the neighborhood again. And here is the house where my arrow is. And we're going to follow and trace that vehicle. So when he came out of the driveway, he made a left. He cruised very slowly to the corner of Melville Drive. He made a right turn around that corner. There's only one house on that corner. And then he came down that street. A house is on that corner. And here's what he did. He made a right turn right here onto Bay Avenue. He went down the street, and obviously there's no houses here, only two here. He came down that street, past several other homes. He came to the end of Bay Avenue. He made another right turn. And I believe that is Georgetown Street. He went down this street. He didn't come back down Aspen Avenue, his block. He continued straight right to Proctor Boulevard, as that is the main strip in that area. He made a right turn. He came down Proctor, back to 108th Street, where we see him make a right turn again, back to Aspen Avenue, and back to the house. So in essence, if we were to take a look at the timeline in this video surveillance footage, think about it. Coming out, going down Melville Drive, connecting to Bay Avenue, connecting here, making a right, going to Proctor, making a right, coming back to 108, making a right, back to Aspen, making a right, and back to the house. Most likely, that would take about 5 to 6 minutes to do. Give or take. Because that it would be the only direction he could have taken in order to have made that right turn back onto Aspen Avenue. He went in a big circle. He went in a very big circle. Melville Drive. Oh, Boss Blake says, what's down Melville Drive? Okay. Let's pull it back a little bit. This is Melville. When he made that right turn, the first time we see it, Melville Drive. All the way down. There's really not too much down Melville Drive. There are several homes down there, but as you go down deeper and deeper on Melville Drive, the houses down here seem to get scarce all the way until you start to head out into desert area. So he couldn't have gone that far down the road, which makes me believe he made that right turn off Melville to Bay Avenue, down Bay Avenue to Georgetown Street. Made a right on Georgetown. He hit Proctor Boulevard, went down Proctor, made a right on 108, and then reconnected with Aspen Avenue, and then came back to the house. That's what I believe he did. All in a matter of about 5 to 6 minutes, as we saw on the video surveillance footage. But that's not, quite frankly, looking all around the neighborhood for two missing children at night. Now, is it? Why would he only take 5 to 6 minutes to look for his kids and then come back? Why didn't his wife go with him? Why didn't she walk the streets with a flashlight? Him getting in the vehicle looking one way and her on foot looking in the neighborhood. Why didn't she come out of the house and walk the streets, across the street to the neighbor here, to the neighbor adjacent, next door to them? She would have been knocking on a lot of doors on that block looking for her kids, since they were the only two kids with them. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. That's right, Renee. Why didn't they search near the fence? Why didn't they search near the fence? Because most people would have alerted the neighborhood. Hey, have you seen my kids? They're two boys. Have you seen my kids? Knock, 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 knock. I mean, frantically. And not that many houses on this block. One on the corner here, one across the street here from the corner. The neighbor across from them. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 11 or 12 more houses on that same block. So it wouldn't have been a lot of people to come in contact with to ask them, had they seen the kids? That didn't happen. That did not happen. Let's continue with AV Watchman's video, because there are telltale signs here as to the reason why that didn't happen.
Is he's not looking for no kids, bro.
Now he's looking back. He's not looking for nobody. You see him getting from this way on that fence.
No.
And you can see his backyard.
Yeah.
If anybody walks in that backyard, you'll see shadows. You know what I mean? He's not even in his backyard looking for no kids.
None. What was that? I just see some.
Yeah, it was a dog.
Oh, okay.
A dog. So if you see the dog again?
Yeah, you can see the dog.
Yeah, so if it was a human, you would have
see
seen
them.
it way better, bro. To see a little dog, you know?
Yeah.
So you would have seen somebody back there.
Exactly. And I'm with you, Boss Blake. He knows good and damn well that them kids didn't make it that far down that street in a short period of time.
Back shed behind it, you know what I mean?
So he's still right now. He's in the phone right now, or
So what happens is he pretty much stands there right in front of his house for about another 5 to 6 minutes when the cops pull up. So at this point, I believe he already called the cops.
okay.
Assuming from the reaction time and the arrival time of the police, you know?
Right. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you guys for doing that. Spread the word, let other people know that we are live, and by doing that, click the thumbs up. Hey, so the neighbor, this is a good dude right here, man. He just gave me access to come in here and look at this video surveillance that he has from his house. This guy is a piece of shit, you know? You can tell.
I mean, you could
He's
tell
not looking for.
if he came this way towards my house,
Yeah.
the first place he would look is right here.
He's not acting like someone looking for the child.
Oh,
Bro.
you would have seen him come off the street, go to your neighbor's back.
Yeah, right away, bro. Running. No, he's not panicking, bro. Yeah, this guy's.
I watched this video like so many times, and I try to like break it down. You know what I mean? So the next interesting part is that pretty much he's gonna stand in front of his house, see the dog walking around in the back. You could see nobody's back there. It's just a dog.
Yeah.
Well, so the cops are gonna pull up soon,
Okay.
and you'll see what he does next, which is freaking crazy. I still can't believe it. So let me fast forward a little.
Oh, he's gonna do something right now.
I mean, I wasn't gonna fast forward, so you could see that he doesn't come towards this area. But
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you could tell already that he's not.
Yeah, he's not. I see lights coming from the rear.
That's just a neighbor
Oh, okay.
passing by or something.
All right.
He's as a neighbor passing by. So he's pretty much still right there. His wife, him, they do not come out. You know.
Right. I will see. Joe Dirt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Boom. Something just turned on.
Okay, so this is, what time is this? 4:48 already.
448.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Right.
It was 4:33 when he hopped in his car and took off the first time or something like that.
Right.
4:30
And he was gone for like 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes. He
Right.
was gone.
Right. And now we're waiting for the cops to pull up now.
Yeah, so we're about to wait for the cops to pull up and watch what he does.
All right, so we're to watch. The cops are going to be pulling up right now, and he obviously he did something that we're going to see right now. So that's 449, 1649. Yeah, 449. Okay, so now we got. I see.
So
What was that?
I went a little too much forward, so I reversed again. So he still hasn't come out.
He's still behind. All right, guys. So he's still behind this tree right here.
Just chilling, waiting for the
just waiting for the cops, right? He didn't put the call, and then while he's on the phone, he's not looking. He's just chilling.
Yeah. That's already 7 minutes. They still haven't showed up. Plus minus.
This is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
As you guys can see, he's not looking for these kids at all. He hasn't even came from behind that tree.
Yeah.
And like the neighbor was saying, you could see through this fence. Like we just seen the dog walk right here.
That's
his backyard, right? We just seen the dog. Haven't seen no kids at all.
If any kid came out, I would have caught it on my camera too before this. You know what I mean? So
that's what I was gonna ask you. Like
we could go back. So he stated that to the police that his statement was because they came and they took my DVR. The FBI has this recording. So he told the cops that on the 19th, 2 days before that, all 6 kids, husband, wife, they all went to Bakersfield Christmas shopping. So on the 19th, and this is early, he said 11 a.m. So I looked, and 4 kids only sit in the car, husband and wife. Those 2 little kids on the 19th didn't even sit in that car.
And this was on the 19th?
This was on the 19th.
Hey, did you guys just hear that?
I could go back.
Hey, if you guys heard that, press 1. Did you just hear what he said?
And okay, so I could go back and show you the 19th too, and you could count how many heads come out.
Okay, see, so he's telling me that he could go back to the 19th, right?
Now the cops are pulling up. It's already 16:52.
So 4:52 now, right?
See them right there.
Right. Okay, and here comes the cops.
First officer pulling up to the scene. So look.
Yeah,
look
the feds, the FBI has it.
He's gonna look at him. He kind of hesitated, then he went. I don't know if you did figure.
I've seen that.
Then his wife hesitated. So now he goes and he tells the cops, and that's his wife walking in the back, telling them, "You might want to put your camera just a little back so you can see."
1652.
That should be good on it.
Yeah. So he tells the cops that, hey, my 2 and 3 year old or 3 and 4 year old is missing, right? So the cop takes off. It's her walking. Or him, I don't know, but they're not looking.
They're not looking, bro.
They're not looking.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not looking. You don't have no kids missing, bro.
No.
So he goes and he's hopping back in his truck. Okay.
Right.
This is what I call him playing the little movie part. You know what I mean? He's setting up the stage pretty much.
He's setting it up, right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I'm searching too. I'm doing this. So he hops back in his car when the cop pulls up, right? But he was just standing around before that.
Doing
so
nothing.
He comes out the same way how he pulled in. He came out the same. Look what he does. What is he doing, bro? Look what he does.
The exact same.
Look what he does. Makes that same freaking right.
The exact same right turn again.
Why would you go
in the exact same direction again?
Right?
Yeah.
And
hi. Hello. This doesn't make. This is crazy, bro. Where's this cop going? He's searching. He's searching.
He's frantically searching. You could tell he's searching.
Yeah, no.
You could tell
the difference.
Yeah, you could tell the difference. Right?
Yeah.
Searching and someone not searching. You know what I mean?
Yep. So you guys seen this? He stood here. He was gone for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but he stood here for what? 8?
Yeah, something like that.
8, 9 minutes. Standing here, waiting for the cops. He wasn't searching at all. Is that the cop again coming back, or
another officer? So another officer pulls up, parks in the front, and he's gonna go hit the whole backyard now. You know what I mean?
Hey, can you guys? Am I too close to the TV? Can you guys see it pretty good, or what? Let me know. Let me know if you guys can see this footage. I appreciate you guys, joining. As you guys know, this is my second channel, guys, so we can't get into the first channel, so I'm pretty much just gonna not even worry about that first channel anymore. Okay, so this is another
officer.
another officer.
So
Ooh.
Okay. And so as you can see, the investigation of the two missing boys out of California City begin. California City Police Department shows up. The 16:58 mark, as was mentioned by the chief of police, John Walker, at that time during his interview with the news reporters. And so, in any case, as we stated before, time is of the essence. When things begin, when things are occurring, and when things end. And so, the reason why I wanted to share this piece with you is because there is one thing that bothers me tremendously out of what we just saw. Welcome, Vanessa Jones. I see you popped up in there, my moderator. I'm just going to go back. Fire Mama 411, how you doing? Yeah, this is like a Lifetime movie. Now you understand why they were so nervous during that news interview that they did. The rocking back and forth, stepping all over each other, trying to tell the story. All of this stuff. I also heard during the conversation between AV Watchman and that neighbor that the neighbor had caught video surveillance footage of them leaving the house with the children, stating that that they went shopping, Christmas shopping, just before the boys went missing. Hence, but that part of the story still needs to be verified. He may have thought they went shopping. Until that's verified, we can only say that may have been his assumption, because they did have children with them on that day that they left, which was the 19th. Two days prior. Okay, but I want to back this up and see if I can get to the part that disturbed me. Take my time and get that part back, because this is a part that bothered me.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
It was just before he left.
Yeah, you want to go? You want to black out or what?
it's up to you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Good.
Okay, all right, guys. So he had to turn the lights off real quick. That way you can see a little bit better.
All right, so this is the time he's gonna report his kid.
I got some buffering going on. I'll get back to that part.
Is missing, so it's 4:31. He's gonna come out right now. You'll see him come out. Should be coming out in a second now.
Okay, so what we're looking at, guys, is here. See that van? So he's gonna come in outside any moment now to make to call.
Well, he's gonna look for his kids apparently, but you're gonna see how he does it and what he does. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And we're just waiting for him to come out.
There you go. So the light came on. You see it?
Which in the front?
Yeah, the front little light. He opened the side door. You see the door open?
Oh, it's open to the van. Yep.
That's what bothers me. This is the part of the video surveillance footage that captured OrsonWest. That night he went looking for his two sons. This is the part that bothers me. He leaves the house, goes to his vehicle, the white van. He opens up the passenger side door, gets in, closes the door, starts his vehicle, turns his lights on, and then begins his 5 to 6 minute search. Who gets into their vehicle from the passenger side when they are by themselves? Why did he enter the van from the passenger side? And I was thinking, as quick as we see him get into his van, I said, could there be a possibility that he loaded the boys up into the van within about a 5 to 8 second time ratio? Could he have loaded up the kids, but yet we can't see them because of that fence that's over here? Being that the kids are very small. So it blocks our vision from seeing anybody else get into the van. And we know it's dark. Could he have been putting something in the van? Having to open up the passenger side door? Because the way this unfolded, it just doesn't make any sense to enter your car from the passenger side door when you're by yourself. Why didn't he just go to the front of the van and open up the driver's side door, get in, turn on his lights, and then go searching? And this is the critical area that really hooked me, because everything here is irregular. This is abnormal behavior. And I think that the California City Police Department, when they saw this, also thought the same thing. Could this have been the time right here? Could this have been the time here, the critical time here, that the boys did truly go missing? Or were they taken? And I believe, as I said in my last live, these boys were taken. These boys were taken. The truth will come out. But I wanted to stop and show you this piece, because this was the heartbeat of this video surveillance footage to me. And it was in the way Trezell left the house to go searching for his two sons, for his boys, which is the most irregular thing I've ever seen, especially in a very high panic, high anxiety, high nervousness state of mind. Your kids just went missing, and this is how you behave to go to look for them? Could this be the point where the whole story really starts? I wanted to share that with you, because this is what hooked me. That's what got me hooked up on it, because I said, who does that? Who does that? Okay. Well, welcome, TaylorMade. And if another content creator already broke this down, that's great. Everyone has their own point of view. And I'm glad to see that you decided to join us. Anyway, so yes, here is a case in point. And I'm sure it was a case in point not only for the California Police Department when they had primary lead on the case, but now it's going to be a huge point for the Bakersfield Police Department. Very huge. So yes, taking a look at the area, taking a look at the actions and behavior, taking a look at the timeline in which the actions and behavior fell into place, we can begin to see how the story unfolds in a small little area of California City, almost to a remote area in California City, how this story takes shape and begins to unfold. And now with folks and boots on the ground still there in California City, putting up billboards, collaborating together to collect the funds to actually have billboards made for the missing boys is a tremendous accomplishment for people coming together, deciding to work together to do something positive, especially in this case of two missing boys, to create the results that we see here today. Much love goes out to those content creators and to all the people who have made a major contribution to make sure that justice does get done. To make sure that justice does get done. And for anyone having any information as to the whereabouts of these boys, Orrin and Orson, you have the telephone numbers there to call, along with the Bakersfield Police Department, who's now in charge of this case. And I'm glad they are, because I believe now we're going to see some big results occur and happen. That's going to change the dynamics in this case. Major, major results. Here I wanted to show you that part of let me just do this. This was the picture taken of the FBI doing ground surveillance using high-tech equipment, forensic high-tech equipment on the grounds adjacent to the house on the open lot beside the house, combing that entire area to locate to see if the boys were actually buried in this area during the time earlier in the investigation. Here we have an idea of what the house looks like now. All boarded up. Trezell and Jacqueline have moved out of that house, obviously, out of the neighborhood. They're back in Bakersfield. And yet this house is still a crime scene, according to Bakersfield records. And it's incredible for a new okay. Family that's new to the neighborhood just got there in September of 2020, only to find how short of a period of time that they were there to have a tragic event like this happen. It's incredible. It's incredible. Okay. Yeah, questions. Also, the area of investigation, which was the backyard, where there were holes that were dug by the investigation team. This particular area, I wonder why they selected this particular area next to this tree. But this is the size of the patio area that the boys were allegedly playing on, or where they allegedly were playing with chalk. Playing with chalk. That's a very small patio area, back porch area where these two chairs are. And if this was the crime scene in which, or the backyard scene in which they photographed, not a lot of room back here. Not a lot of room back here at all. And I still did not hear from any reports, maybe some of y'all had, of the police finding any chalk markings or any kind of doodling on the ground, maybe on the wall. You know how kids like to grab things and start writing all over the place, especially a 3 and 4-year-old. Give them something to write with. They'll be on the ground, on the walls, and on doorways, wherever they can write. You know how rambunctious they can be, huh? Yeah, DeWalsh. Where were they playing with chalk when there's so much stuff on that patio? I heard about that, Boss Blake. Someone actually placed a piece of chalk on the patio there. Took a picture of it. It looked like it was just one piece. One piece. But it's not a lot of room back here. And obviously, Trezell did mention in his statement that he didn't want the boys in the dirt. Keep them off the dirt. This is incredible. And I was just looking at this ground area here. That they supposedly investigated of the backyard. Taking one more look because I thought I saw something here. And how high that fence is, I believe this is maybe close to 5 to 6 feet high. which is a buffer fence, the back shed. He must have been working somewhere back here in this area, giving light to another cement slab here where the two gates are, or where the gate in the backyard is. And then, see if I can quick. And as the billboard, I got number 5. I think they have either number 4 or number 5 that just got put up. This was very interesting to find. He's out here walking with his dad, Philip West. They were caught walking the streets, and I believe AV Watchman was driving beside them, trying to get them to say something in regards to the missing boys. Philip West is the gentleman here with the black scully hat and the red handkerchief around his face with a walking stick. And Trezell behind him walking their dog. And at first it was said that the dog's name was Chalk. And it kind of threw me. I said, well, if the dog's name is Chalk, why didn't he say that during the interview? The boys were outside playing with Chalk, our dog, if that's the dog's name. But yet they had a dog. Was the dog in the backyard with the boys when they went missing? Interestingly enough, the story unfolds. This was very interesting to find as well. Can you all see this? It seems like Trezell and Jacqueline were caught in an adult toy store. Not worried about looking for their boys. So the adoptive parents don't seem to be concerned about looking for their boys. Seems like they're looking harder for adult toys instead, as they were spotted at a local adult store here in Bakersfield, California yesterday. Wow, unbelievable. I don't know about you, but if kids went missing, I'd be out looking day and night, not shopping for adult toys. They are under the microphone. They are under the microscope. And as I said, behavior will tell a lot. What you do speaks so loud. What you say, no one can understand. But this was very interesting to find, to show how concerned the adoptive parents are of their two boys that are presently still missing, to be caught on camera in an adult toy store during the course of this investigation. But of course, as we all know, all of this will be used as evidence against them once everything begins to come to the conclusion. So let me get to this, because this was the highlight of the day. And it was a highlight to find out that as of yesterday, Bakersfield Police Department is now taking over the case. And Byron Wang, the news reporters that's covering the story, is covering it with sheer sheer compassion. That's one thing. Hope he stays on it until everything gets wrapped up. But I wanted to share with you the latest development, even though you may have heard it, as to the reason why the Bakersfield Police Department is now the lead investigative agency on this case. As soon as it's ready, it shall do its thing. But I want to and joining us on the live to cover some developments, the insights that I've come across, information that I've come across concerning this case. Queued up. All right. We'll get it to play. Give me a second. Just give me a moment. These things just had their way when you want to get it set up. I had all this set up too. I'll get the sound. I will get the sound. Yeah, it is sad. It is very sad to find out that they got caught in the toy store, adult toy store. Very sad, but will prevail. And it's for certain. So many persons of interest that are involved in this case. I'm just trying to get this video to act right here. So just give me a moment here, because it seems like when you get caught up in all right. I'll start from here then. Best way to do it is to start from here. See if we can get it from here. All right, let me just, while this is queuing up, let me see what's going on in the chat. Okay, well, hopefully this will play. It's from 23 ABC News. And the reporter's name is Ang. That's covering the West case. And I think he's doing a very good job. He was the one who also interviewed Police Chief John Walker when it was in California City. Come on, where is the volume on this? All right, why did they pick that spot to dig? Yeah, I was thinking that too when I first saw that picture. And all of the evidence that was taken from the house. Try it again. All of the evidence that was taken from the house, I'm sure that bedding from the house, clothes from the house, toothbrushes, hairbrushes, and for those search dogs and cadaver dogs, a yard, but only in the house. I found that quite interesting too. They use both and cadaver dogs. And for them not to get a hit, that says a lot. Oh, this is really getting on my nerves here. This thing is not playing the way it should. All right, I'm going to do. But yeah, shout out to AB Watchman for posting that critical piece of information that gives and shines light on this whole situation concerning the story that was told during the time they did that news interview. I am so glad they were able to capture that news interview just the way they did. Just the way they did. And I'm going to see if I can find that piece that I wanted to share with you a different way. Shout out to LV United We Stand, who's been on this case as well. Queen Talks Crime. Shout out to her. But I was with Lady Queen just last night on her channel, discussing the case, and she's doing great. She's covered some great information on this case. So shout out to Lady Queen for having me on her platform, and we were discussing the case. And she's a very down to earth, dynamic woman, mother of children, and she's holding the fort down. She's also going to college for criminal justice. So major shout out to her. And these are the kind of folks that you can align yourself with, especially when tragic events like this occur, and we get a handle on it. And there's a host of others. Duty Ron, I had mentioned, New York, retired New York City Police Department detective, working on the case online. Crenshaw Inc. or Crenshaw Incorporated is another content creator on YouTube. Everyday Shenanigans. She is definitely down to earth. If you haven't heard that, obviously Boss Blake has been on the case. And he just recently put up some information regarding an update, but I will get to this update. And I think this is the one I wanted to share with you. And thank y'all for coming back and joining us. Try to do our best to, especially with my time commitment right now, try to stay consistent as possible. Oh. Okay, see if we can get it now. Come on.
That's exactly right. The Bakersfield Police Department took over the investigation this morning. And as you could remember, the California City Police Department were the former lead agency in this case. And I spoke to both departments this morning, and they told me that this jurisdiction switch was essentially jurisdiction switch was a progressive decision. It wasn't some kind of major breaking news overnight where they had to automatically switch who the lead agency was. This was over time in recent weeks, but it begs the question, why switch jurisdiction now?
It's a combination of factors. There is information that is known to investigators.
That information now making the Bakersfield Police Department the lead agency investigating the disappearance of 3-year-old Orson West and 4-year-old Orrin West. But those brothers were reported missing in California City on December 21st, a town more than 60 miles from Bakersfield that also has their own police department.
By no means are we dropping out. We just no longer will be the lead agency in the investigation.
California City Police Chief John Walker said that decision was finalized Monday morning, but he was unable to comment further. According to Bakersfield Police Sergeant Robert Pear, one reason for the switch has to do with the boys' history.
The little boys are from Bakersfield. Both their biological and adoptive families are from Bakersfield.
But according to former Bakersfield Police Department Lieutenant Gary Carresco, those factors alone don't determine jurisdiction.
Where the crime originated is the agency that takes responsibility for investigating that crime. It's not uncommon, though, for jurisdictions to shift during an investigation.
According to Pear, BPD is unable to disclose whether they believe a crime relating the boy's disappearance occurred in Bakersfield.
I would like to be able to tell you, but I can't. And you know as well as I do that it's not just the public that are watching this. It's if there are people involved in this, then they're also paying attention to it as well. And so I can't release specific details.
Carresco says in order for jurisdiction to change, there would have to be good evidence for it. If a crime didn't occur in Bakersfield, would the Bakersfield Police Department ever just take over an investigation and say, we are now the lead investigators?
There, again, would have to be some exigent circumstances surrounding the details of the case. But normally, no. Normally, the only reason that they would take over the investigation is because there is sufficient evidence to believe that the case originated in Bakersfield.
Did you all hear that? Did you all hear that? That there is sufficient evidence that the case originated in Bakersfield, which will now begin to clear up some foggy notions and a bit of speculation when it comes down to, did the boys ever make it to California City at all? A lot of folks, and I believe the majority of folks that I've come across, stated that they had a feeling that the boys never made it to California City. And that on the 19th of December, What the neighbor had saw and shared with AV Watchman was 4 children getting into the white van and leaving that day to either do Christmas shopping or be dropped off to the grandparents' house for the Christmas holiday. Because they certainly didn't have those kids. They certainly didn't have those kids. And so a lot of people was under the impression, and so was I. I said, did they make it to California City at all? And none of the neighbors had ever seen the boys or could identify with the boys because they were never seen. And that was kind of puzzling to me when I first came across it. But as this information begins to come out, we're finding out that there is a strong possibility that this case did originate in Bakersfield.
Now, BPD is not new to this case file. They have been working kind of behind the scenes for some time now, right?
That's right, Alex. The Bakersfield Police Department, the FBI, the Kern County Sheriff's Office, the Kern County's Bureau of Investigators, all of them a part of this case from the very beginning. We don't know if KCSO or if the District Attorney's Bureau of Investigators are still working the case, but yes, the Bakersfield Police Department since day one have been assisting CCPD. Now they're the lead agency, and new today we're learning from Sergeant Pear that over 20 search warrants were executed so far in Bakersfield, in other jurisdictions, in parts of California City as well, on behalf of the Bakersfield Police Department. He was unable to disclose exactly what they're looking for items from various residences. Is pretty much.
Okay. Absolutely. So now we know that there have been 20 search warrants that have been issued, which says a lot. 20 search warrants that are already issued and in motion in regards to collecting more evidence. The plot thickens. 20. That's a lot. Most likely for cell phones and texts, emails, communications from the people and persons of interest. That means new interviews with those people and persons of interest, again, with a fresh set of eyes, fresh set of ears, making sure that the stories or the interviews that were had previous to this follow a logical order. Find out if anybody is going to either add or delete from their statement. So this is good news. And for them to have moved this case to a new primary lead agency is outstanding. I think we're going to see some big progress here in regards to this case coming together even faster. And that's good because it's only been 2 months going into a third. And as I stated it earlier in the live, it should have not gone on as long as it has. And it was only to the fact of the California Police Department not having as much resources as the Bakersfield Police Department does. Having only 13 officers and trained personnel to handle a case like this in California City, that says one thing. But now, having Bakersfield Police Department, along also with the support of the FBI, Sheriff's Office, the DA's office, they have the resources, they have the manpower and the technology to really start to make some headway in getting to the bottom of what happened to Orrin and Orson West and their whereabouts. So I see things rapidly coming together. I think with over the next 10 to 14 days, we should be hearing more and more and more on this case as it proceeds. So big shout out to the people that are making this work, making it happen. You got to bring these kids home because, like I said, I believe they're alive. I believe they were taken. I believe secret arrangements had been made between the persons of interest, the culprits that caused this to happen. So we shall see. We shall see. So yes, Yvonne Williams, those kids never made it to Cal City. I believe that. I believe that. This case has been just so suspicious from day one. So suspicious. And now they will find out. And I'm sure that CPS will be able to be a supportive agency as well to the Bakersfield Police Department in this investigation, because they have the background of the boys, and obviously nothing happens without medical records. And that's going to be interesting because now we'll find out a little bit more about, most likely, about the boys' health before all of this started. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fire Mama 411 says they denied to take a polygraph test. Police spoke to the other siblings. I am sure the police know the actual timeline needed to find the boys. Were collecting money using COVID as an excuse to hide. Interesting. Interesting. I'm sure that they were asked to take a polygraph test, but we weren't told whether they did take a polygraph test at all. And even though polygraphs are inadmissible in court, it does fine tune the state of mind of the individual. It is a great tool to tap into the state of mind of the individual. Child trafficking. That's a heavy word, Sweet Pea. That's a heavy word. But nonetheless, we will find out. We will find out now. I believe so, more so than I did before. And it gives me great pleasure and a sincere hope that they get to the bottom of it as quickly as possible. I believe with the 20 search warrants that are out there, and not only in the Bakersfield jurisdiction, but other jurisdictions around Bakersfield, if you heard that news report. And that's going to play a very important part in filling in a lot of the blanks of the story. Other jurisdictional areas. How far does this go? We will find out. We will find out. And as far as, I guess, the biological mother and the adoptive mother, we know who they are. They have a battle of emotions going on right now. I know that their stress level is as high as the Empire State Building. This is a sad, sad state of affairs when you had one mother having their children taken from her, and now you have two mothers that have now had their children taken from them. Two. Jacqueline's children have been taken from her. So I said in my last live, if there's anything that's going to really turn this case around, she may be the one to turn around, renege on her first story, and tell us exactly what happened in order to help get her kids back, her biological children back. Because I know CPS will not be giving back the other two back to her because of this. This goes on their record. You got two missing adopted boys. We're not going to chance having you care for any of the children. You can't take care of your own. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I wanted to jump on here tonight as a follow-up to our last live and share with you just some insight from that video surveillance footage that AV Watchman had posted on his channel. And if you're not subscribed to the content creators that I had mentioned, please do. They're following the case, and it's always good to get some insights from various different content creators. Stay on top of the information. And you know me, I'm on top of it. I am on top of it. And hopefully we can come to a positive conclusion. I believe we'll get there. I believe we'll get there, and the person that I believe may have the boys will have a change of heart, knowing that they made a mistake. Because that's what you'll find in this case are mistakes. And I said so before, that they're just waiting for someone to make a mistake, someone to be seen, someone to be heard. Just like Trezell and Jacqueline got caught at the adult toy store, that's a mistake. And so they're bound to make mistakes. And this plays to law enforcement advantage because they've made a mistake from day one. They should have given attention to those boys and not take their attention off of those children, because they were the only two with them at the time in that house on December 21st before they went missing. The other children were on vacation, as Trezell said. So you can imagine if the other four children were there. So there was also the question of why did they keep the two adoptive children, that's Orrin and Orson, with them and not have them visit the grandparents along with the other children? So there's still some questions here. There's still some questions here. DeWalt said, I would tell it everything I know. I wouldn't want to spend time in prison. Right. Right. I don't think Jacqueline will give information. I think Trezell will be the weak link and squeal if squeezed. Great live, John. I hope the kids are found and more information is given soon. Yes, I do too, Fire Mama. I really do. I believe we'll definitely see over the next 10 to 14 days what develops. I'm sure this will start to come to light. You got active search warrants out there that have been issued for perhaps additional information from the culprits that are involved. And whoever is involved, however many people there are that are involved in this, yeah, justice is coming. That was a dumb decision. If this was a scheme of some kind, that was a very stupid decision made on everybody's part. But like I said in my last live, debt plays a very important part in what people do, plays a very important part in people's behavior, the thinking, the mindset. And so if this was about specific debts people have, and they wanted to see a way to where they can supplement their income, get some new money in somehow, this was a wrong place to do it. At the expense of two young toddlers, this was the wrong place to do it. With that said, I'm gonna close up for tonight's live, and I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Thank my moderators, Vanessa Jones, Boss Blake, for coming in and holding the fort down. And yes, we will be on top of this case. We'll continue to monitor its progress and bring you back what we find. Much love goes out to everyone. And once again, thank you to the content creators for staying on the case, allowing me to share your work as well. This is a very important venture. It's a very important venture when dealing with subject matter, such as tonight's subject matter anyway. So with that said, much love goes out to you. Stay well. Stay blessed. With Godspeed. We'll be back. Take care.